we're using the graph software. And so just to kind of look at what we're looking at, I'm going to be looking at this cost function, 540 plus 3Q, a revenue function of 12Q, and then potentially a profit function of 9Q minus 540. So let's look at the graph software and let's put these functions in. So if you want to see what the functions are, I'll just move the graph over a little bit like this. So first, let's hit function and insert function. The first function will be our cost function. So I'll say 540 plus 3x. And for our purposes right now, I'm going to just let this go from 0 to 100. Press OK. Doesn't show up yet, but that's because the window's not set. I'm going to add the second function. So hit function, insert function. This will be the revenue function, so I'll put in 12x. I'll let this go from 0 to 100 as well. And maybe I'll make this one a different color. The other one was blue. Maybe I'll make this one, no, it's the same blue. Let's do purple. All right, press OK. Now the revenue does come through the origin, so we do see this function here. But to set up a window, let's think about this. I'm letting it go from 0 to 100, x being the number of units. And so 12 times x, or 12 times q, would give me 1200. That would be the revenue. And so let's try this. I'm going into axes. So for the x max, so under the x tab, you can do a x maximum of 100. All right, the x axis crosses it, y equals 0. Don't want to change that. The label is x. On my graph, I want it to show q because that's what we're talking about in our paper. All right, the tick marks, right now it's at auto to go every 2 ticks. That would be 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way out to 100. That's too many. So I will take auto tick off and then put in ticks every 10 units. I don't necessarily need to show the grid and that kind of thing right now, so I'll just leave this the way it is. Go to the y-axis. And here I said 100 times 12 was 1200. So let's do a maximum of around, let's say I'll go a little bit higher than that, maybe 1300. So about a tenth of that is 130. So let's go negative 130 for the minimum. And the tick marks, we don't want those every 5. We could make these maybe every 200. And then I could go into settings. I don't like this to show up. I could check this right here, take the check off for showing the legend. But for our purposes right now, let's just leave it the way it is. Press OK. And at least now I've got the graph to show up. So right here at 540, the cost function is increasing the slope of 3. Here the revenue function is increasing using a slope of what, 12. So it's this point of intersection that I'm really interested in. And so if I were to solve the equation, the revenue equals the cost, then what we'd end up with, I think, is somewhere right around 60. And so when you plug in 60, I think both values would be 720. So if I want to put a point on this graph, click function, and then go down a little bit, it says insert point series. So the x where they intersect is 60. The y value where they intersect is 720. And we can make it whatever color we wanted. So they used the color red. I'm going to leave it for that for right now. And just press OK. So now I've got a point of intersection right there. I could go in here and, let's see, put in a text box. So click on this little letter A. And in that case, I can put in the point. I'll just do 60, comma, 720 for now. Press OK. And I can move that text box over closer to that point. If I wanted to put a label for one of the graphs, I could do the same thing, hit text box. We'll make it that dark blue color. We'll increase the font size and do what? C of Q equals 540. Oops. 540 plus 3Q. Press OK. Now I can stick this over here. If you want to create an equation for the revenue function, do the same thing. I'll change the color this time to that purple. And here I'll do R of Q equals 12Q. And I can move that somewhere so it matches up with that. So notice now the numbers might be a little small. The label Y is not very descriptive here. We're doing revenue and cost, so maybe I'll just put dollar signs here to represent that this is $1,000 and $1,200. So let's go back to axes. I'm going to double click the axes, go to settings, uncheck the legend, go to font and color tab, and I'm going to change the fonts for the labels, the X and the Y axis. Let's make those substantially larger. So I'll go up to 24 point, press OK. Then the number font along the axes, I'll increase those as well, maybe to 16, press OK. And after making those changes, press OK. And notice that the numbers along the axes got larger. And I still have the label Y there. I'll go back and change that. But I still have Q here for quantity. That's good. So let's go back into axes. And we're going on the Y axis and changing the label from Y to, let's just say, dollar sign. And we're talking big money here, so maybe $2 signs. All right, and press OK. So now we've got an image, and we could now copy this into our PowerPoint or our Word document. And so if I just press Edit and Copy Image, then I'll go over to my Word document, put the cursor somewhere, Control V for paste, and there's my image, and I can resize it a little bit without changing so much. Take away maybe some of the spaces. And so there you have a nice image that shows the point of intersection, or in this case, the break-even point, right, when revenue equals cost.